What's up, y'all? DE02 Productions back with another video. So we're gonna be looking at the origins of Roman Reigns and the journey of him being written as terrible, from terrible babyface to an amazing heel work. So we're not gonna waste any time. Let's just jump into the video right now.
WWE built their show around the members of The Shield. Dean Ambrose, Seth Rollins, and Roman Reigns were the top three young stars of the WWE that would be the future of the company. And out of those three individuals, Vince McMahon's favorite was always Roman Reigns. So much so that he was always pushed the most, even main eventing 4 straight WrestleManias starting in 2015, ending in 2018.
Yeah.
A majority of the wrestling fan base and the WWE Universe rejected him as the face of the company. A lot of people did not want to see him as the top guy. While we weren't able to see it, Vince McMahon was able to. We may think Vince is out of touch, but he might still be the same genius who's been running the company for the last 40 years. More on that in a later video though. Anyways, today I want to make the case that Roman Reigns is the only wrestling star that we have today. It's crazy to say that because I was one of his biggest haters, but he's been doing the absolute best work of his entire career.
Man, look
Roman
at his
Reigns
hair
has
though.
entered his prime and should
His
be
hair was like
recognized as
super
the
long
number
back
one
then.
guy in the entire industry and business. And when I say star, I mean somebody that legitimately looks like a star and is also a draw. Not many people can draw ratings, but I think Roman is the one exception. Brock Lesnar was the only other wrestler that I saw as a star, but he hasn't been on WWE programming in a very long time. And we don't even know when he's going to resign. Outside of Brock Lesnar, Drew McIntyre is the only other active wrestler that comes very close. I just think he needs some more exposure at big shows, and maybe after a year in the main event scene, he will solidify his status as a star in the wrestling world.
I believe
and
they
then you
can
have
do that.
AEW, who's got Cody Rhodes and MJF that I could see as stars in the future, but AEW is just on such a smaller scale than WWE that it's hard to really talk about their star power. I remember AEW was actually struggling to fill up their arenas just a year ago. And so, the wrestling world is left with just one true star, and his name is Roman Reigns. Let's talk about it. Roman Reigns has been Vince McMahon's personal project since 2014. It was no secret that he was the favorite. Roman was the only one who was able to keep his original Shield attire and even the entrance music. Vince wanted fans to associate him with the Shield because everyone loved the faction. I think he expected fans to automatically cheer for Roman Reigns because of that. It did not work though.
His 2015 run was a joke. They completely turned him into John Cena, and none of us asked for it in the first place. And it's been going on since, what, forever? Thankfully, they made a huge turnaround this year.
Smart WWE fans like myself didn't like the idea of making him the star. We either wanted Dean Ambrose or Seth Rollins because of their ability to wrestle, and that never made too much sense because Roman Reigns is just as good as them, if not better. It all really depends on your taste in wrestling. Ambrose was a scrappy hardcore wrestler, Rollins was the high flyer, and Roman was the powerhouse. All of them have their special matches and they're all entertaining. It didn't matter. Just because he was the larger athlete and the favorite doesn't mean anything, but it left a bad taste in our mouth. That didn't stop Vince McMahon though. He wisely continued to push him. I say wisely because the casual fans, children, and families all still liked Roman Reigns despite being overpowered by the smart fans and their boos. In the first WrestleMania after the Shield breakup, Roman won the Royal Rumble that sent him into the main event against WWE's biggest star at the time, Brock Lesnar. This is the same Brock Lesnar that defeated The Undertaker streak.
One thing to note, and it seems like a lot of y'all be forgetting that Brock Lesnar actually went with Vince McMahon while the ambulance took Undertaker to the hospital just to make sure he's alright. And a lot of people have been forgetting about that. They only just remember him ending the streak. And y'all gotta understand that as well.
Brock Lesnar that destroyed John Cena to become the undisputed World Heavyweight Champion. The same Brock Lesnar that was the beast that you should fear. Roman Reigns being his next challenger was a genius move. It was even smarter to make him put on a good fight, nearly beating the Beast at WrestleMania 31 before.
And the promos that they did leading up to this match was terrible. And like I said, Vince McMahon just turned John Cena. Well, he turned Roman Reigns into John Cena 2.0, and it was never needed in the first place.
Where Seth Rollins cashed in his briefcase. Vince McMahon was working on the presentation of Roman Reigns. This young kid going to war with the unstoppable beast of Brock Lesnar while putting up a fight made him one of WWE's top stars in that main event. Vince McMahon wasn't done though. The next WrestleMania was dedicated to a storyline with Triple H. The Authority faction was coming to an end. WWE had Roman Reigns be the one to main event his second WrestleMania in a row while also defeating Triple H, ending the Authority faction, and also becoming the new WWE Champion. The fans booed, but Vince was happy because it only continued to work on Roman's presentation of feeling like a star. That wasn't nowhere near the end of this star though. At the next year's WrestleMania, he would main event the show again for the third straight year in a row, but this time it was against The Undertaker. Other than Brock Lesnar, Roman Reigns is the only other wrestler that managed to defeat The Undertaker at the show of shows. Personally, this was the moment that I viewed him as WWE's biggest star because of the reaction that he got the next night on Monday Night Raw.
Yeah,
the WWE
I will never
universe
forget
had
that night
hear
too.
it all. Everything to F you, Roman,
everything.
Roman sucks, and whatever else they could have.
When he returned that night, that was actually real heat. You cannot edit it. You cannot try to control the crowd reaction. That was real heat. And he ate every single minute of it.
The reason why I think this made him a star was because it was the reaction that many wrestlers can never generate nowadays. That was actually the perfect moment to turn him heel. Vince didn't pull the trigger, but it didn't matter because the one line he had that night was flawless. Telling the audience that this was his yard now was perfect. Roman Reigns main evented one more WrestleMania in the next year against Brock Lesnar in a rematch. And those are the 4 main events that Roman Reigns had. It's nice to have these main events on his resume. I really think it was these 4 matches that made him the biggest star in the business right now because that's the pay-per-view that most people talk about, watch, and hear about. Vince knew exactly what he was doing. When he had the most eyes on his product, Roman was the guy that was headlining the shows. The casual fans knew of him. In their eyes, he was the top dog of the WWE. It was all strategically done to make him the face of the company. And then the heel turn happened. This is when everything changed for the better. Roman Reigns made a huge surprise at SummerSlam and came back to shock wrestling fans. What was more shocking than the return was the fact that he returned as a heel. The moment we saw him sitting on...
And that was probably one of their best decisions. One of their best decisions they ever made this year. And just seeing him as a heel, it just made me a fan again because... And they're doing such a great job with this heel character so far.
The couch with Paul Heyman was when I knew this was going to be good. But I didn't expect it to be this good. People have been begging for it to happen for years, and WWE finally hit us with the curveball and did it.
Yeah.
Most likely because they needed something new for the pandemic, but I'm not complaining. Roman Reigns has been doing the absolute best work of his entire career. I can honestly say that everything he's been doing has been pure gold. Roman Reigns has never felt like a bigger star than right now. This new attitude has taken things to a new level. I think a big part of the reason why he's such a big star is because of how seriously he takes himself. It's this kind of stuff that I love seeing. Roman Reigns has even brought up Jey Uso to a level that he's never reached before. For the first time in his career, Jey is more than just a tag team wrestler. And he's even main eventing Smackdown. And it's all thanks to his cousin, Roman Reigns, while also being in the hottest storyline in all of wrestling. I also want to point out that Roman's ability to talk and act is on another different level as well. He has been taking acting lessons, and you could tell because it's been tremendously helping. If you take wrestling and yourself seriously, it does wonders to your character. I can confidently say that this is Roman's time. There's a reason why he sells the most merch. There's a reason why he has over 21 million followers on his Facebook page. There's a reason why Fox demanded he was on Smackdown, and there's a reason why he generates the most views on YouTube. WWE is Roman Reigns, and he is the biggest star and the only star in all of professional wrestling today.
The storyline between him and Jey Uso is one of their best work. But the Hell in a Cell match was just bad. I like some things I like about it, but the rest was just terrible. And that night on SmackDown when Jey Uso turned heel, and it just made Roman look even cooler. As the tribal chief, this is probably one of their best writing I've ever seen in years. Plus, his acting abilities, the way he talks, the way he cuts his promos, and him just being with Paul Heyman and his cousin is one of the best decisions the creative team has ever done. So he is one of the main reasons why I like watching SmackDown. And it's hard for me to say something on Raw, but SmackDown, when it comes to Roman Reigns as a heel, it worked perfectly. Y'all enjoyed this video? Let me know in the comments down below, and I'll see you later.